Dear Warren, Greg, and Ajit, thank you for having us. Your teachings have not only made us better investors, but more importantly, better people. Thank you for that. My name is Rajiv Agarwal, and I am from New Jersey. I run an India-focused fund called Dudarshi India Fund. My question is related to India. Indian economy and Indian equities have done quite well in the last 5, 10, 20 years. It is the 5th largest economy and will be the 3rd largest in the next few years. My question is Berkshire actively looking for opportunities in the Indian equity market, and what will allow you to buy anything meaningful there? Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's a very good question, and obviously India, I'm sure there are loads of opportunities in a place like India, and the question is, do we have any advantage in either insights into those businesses or contacts that will make possible some transaction that might, where the parties in India would particularly want us to participate. I would say that that's something that a more energetic management at Berkshire could pursue, because we do have the reputation now. Berkshire is known, not like it's known in the United States, but it's known around the world, and our Japanese experience has been fascinating in that respect. So there may be an unexplored or unattended to opportunity in that area. I'm not the one to do it, but that may be something that in the future it might be opportunities. There are opportunities. The question is does Berkshire have some kind of advantage in actually pursuing those opportunities particularly against people that are using other people's money where they get paid based on assets managed or something of the sort. I mean, there are plenty of people in the game who are buying and running businesses that do not really have our philosophy. I mean, they're going to get rich no matter what happens, and their payment may be based on how much they buy rather than what they buy. So we'll see how the next management plays the game out at Berkshire, and fortunately you don't have too long to wait on that. Generally, I feel fine, but I know a little bit about actuarial tables, and I just I would say this, that I shouldn't be taking on any 4-year employment contracts like several people are doing in this world at an age where you can't be quite that sure where you're going to be in 4 years. Okay. But you're absolutely right about if you were energetic, had some way to become a buyer of or a party that people particularly wanted to do business with. Japan was great, and India could be great, but India and Japan aren't the same. I mean, I don't adapt myself terribly well to different cultures, and some people are really good at it, and almost anybody's better than I am, but I stumbled into 1 or 2, but that could happen in Act 2 of Berkshire Hathaway.
Potential for India is incredible.
When I met Bill Gates in 1991, we were just talking, and I said, if you could only hire from one university in the world, which would it be? And just like that, he said IIT.
I just called to say I love you.
You use the phrase, we've stayed away from India.
It's what Ajit said. I've never had a call from India.
Good morning, Warren and Uncle Charlie. I have to call you Uncle because my parents are from India and we call anybody older than us Uncle or Auntie.
You have to call us great uncle.
I'm Sabrina Chug from Los Angeles and I'm 12 years old. My mom owns a bunch of Berkeys, which obviously I'm going to get one day. My question is, 17% of the world is Indian. That's 1 out of 6 people in the world. India's economy has been growing at 7-8% per year. At this rate, it will surpass total U.S. GDP in 2043. Can you please tell me why aren't you investing in India?
Well, it's a good question. And we have connections there, obviously. But it hasn't, in the insurance field, there have been very distinct limitations on what a non-Indian company, a non-Indian owned company can do. We've looked a lot, and mostly through Ajit. We've looked a lot at the possibility of being in the insurance business there. And actually, as of yesterday, I agreed next March to go to India because our Iscar business is doing very well there, but I don't know what they think I can do additionally. But in any event, they said, come on to India in March and see if we can't expand it substantially. India is going to grow dramatically, and Iscar belongs in every industrial country in the world. I mean, we are very basic to industry, and we've done wonders for our customers all over the world, and we have a good-sized operation in India, but Iscar management hopes that if we take a trip over there in March, we might land a few more accounts. We do not rule out India, believe me, in looking at either direct investments or marketable securities. In fact, POSCO, Charlie can describe the POSCO situation better than I, but they have big plans for India. Charlie?
Yeah, the one trouble that India presents is that its governments tend to have a fair amount of paralysis, endless due process, endless objection, zoning is hard, planning permissions are hard, etc. And that has caused the very wise founder of modern Singapore to say that China is going to grow much faster than India because their government causes less paralysis. So these countries are different in the opportunities they present. Of course, we like India, and we kind of admire the democracy that causes the paralysis, but we still don't like the paralysis.
It's not ordained, however. If you'd looked at China 40 years ago, you would have not, you wouldn't have dreamt of what would happen. So countries do learn from each other. I mean, and they should. I mean, and I think they've learned many things from the U.S. that they adapt. I'm not talking about India specifically. I'm talking about other countries generally. They don't take on everything we have. But if you looked at a country that was as successful as this country's been over a couple hundred years, you might figure that there could be a few good ideas you could steal. And I think that you're seeing that around the world, and maybe they can improve on us. So I don't think I would feel that any impediments to growth that existed now are necessarily ones that have to be permanent. We ought to figure out a lot of ways to do business in those countries. My preference is obviously in something like insurance, which I understand, and where we've got terrific people. Both China and India do limit us right now quite significantly in what we can own of a company. And I really hate to take some of our managerial talent and put them to work for something we only own 25% of. I'd rather have them working on something we own 100% of. And so it will depend on the laws, but people in India are going to be living a lot better 20 years from now than they are now, as they are in China and as they are in the United States.